Reddit Martian back with another tip-top video for you. r/AskReddit. What will you never tolerate? People asking me a question. They're not listening to my answer. What do you wanna eat? I could go for some Burger King, now we're going with pizza instead. Why ask if you don't give a duck? I've heard these kind of people described as assholes. I'm never going to call them anything else. Lactose. Lactose intolerance. Lactose intolerance. People not flushing in public restrooms. I've had enough of their shirt. I walked into a single stall bathroom after a female co-worker and there was clearly piss all over the toilet seat. I stood there for a moment, contemplating on just cleaning it or finding another bathroom. I decided to call her out privately instead. I went up to her and quietly said, "Do you want to come clean up the piss you left all over the toilet seat?" She slowly followed me back. I opened the door, and she grabbed some paper towels and wiped it up. I thanked her, and she went back to her business. I can't stand people who leave messes, and I'll call them out if I catch them in the act. Littering. There is no reason to do it. Agreed. Smokers that throw their butts on the ground drive me insane. People who disrespect basic common courtesy. Example, the teenager who spat in a public jacuzzi I was in the other day. I gave him a decent reminder not to do it again. Ducking gross. My first award. Thanks anonymous redditor. I was swimming laps in the homeowner association pool. Just me and a guy with his kid and toddler. Then he changed his toddler's poopy diaper and dipped him in the pool to rinse after. The pool I was swimming in. So I left. Oh man. That is absolutely disgusting. Being accused of something that I did not do. The most trivial of wrongful accusations gets my blood boil. What's worse is when afterwards everyone has comes to me about how sorry they felt for me watching me get in trouble when they knew I did nothing wrong. Like, excuse me. You're saying you felt sorry for me but you didn't even bother speaking up for me in the moment. People who make fun of other people for things they know they are insecure about, especially if it's not something they can change. Not even trying to improve something that could trivially be improved. If something is shit, and you know how to fix it, ducking fix it. But I like complaining about that damn door that won't close properly. You'll get your rent when you fix this damn door. Edit. Thanks for the awards, kind strangers. Cheating at board games. It's not a big deal comparing it to some of these things. Damn though, it's so annoying. I'd rather lose trying than win cheating because at least then I know where I stand. Is it cheating when my kids make me play Monopoly and I secretly overpay all my fines? Slip a couple of $100 back into the bank. Forget to charge rent and somehow always manage to lose in 10 minutes. What's hilarious is that I can't tell if you're being a loving dad who wants their kids to win or if you're just sick of playing and are trying to get it over with as soon as possible. Those that are far too lazy to use their indicators. It is the epitome of laziness. I hear you. It's also entitlement whereby we all have to wait for them feckers because they are too lazy to let people know where they are going. The best thing you can do in traffic is to be predictable. Child abuse. Any kind of abuse is something that should not be tolerated. Someone who is condescending. That's cute. Thanks. People being rude to customer service. I know. I hate it when people abuse customer service staff to get free stuff. It makes me really lose respect for the person. Slow fast checkout. And the sick ducks that get in the 10 items or less lane with their loaded 5 weeks worth of groceries cart. I was in the 10 items or less line a while ago and this lady had, no joke, probably 30 containers of Clorox wipes. She had a coupon for each one and they all had to be rung up separately. It took at least 10 minutes by the time I got there. The guy in front of me lost his shirt and started yelling at the cashier. He was demanding why he would let her in this line in the first place and demanded to speak to a manager. The manager came over and placated the guy and rung him up separately. He left the rest of us in line though. Duck that lady and her Clorox wipes. Drunk driving. Arrogant, self-entitled people who think they are the shit and everyone should see them as better. Yeah, well, I hate people who post about me on Reddit. Influencers online promoting diets, skinny teas, and other diet-wise sort of items, and other unhealthy behaviors onto their young, impressionable fanbase. No. Number. I am 100% for healthy, balanced lifestyles and eating in a nutritious way. But laxative, caffeine bomb teas and 1000 calorie plans are never appropriate to be promoting to 14-year-olds. Never, ever. That is damaging AF. Especially for kids whose bodies are still growing, developing. I absolutely hate it when people point it out when people are embarrassed or blushing and say, look, they're going red, they're getting embarrassed. Why would you do that? It's just cruel. What are you getting out of commenting on people being embarrassed? Overcrowded stores. It makes me crazy and deeply uncomfortable. I prefer to get stuff done as early as possible. People who cancel plans last minute, or during the time we had planned. It's amazing how many responsible adults do this. Edit, with exceptions of course. If you have mental/physical health issues or a job that causes last minute flaking, then I can tolerate it. It still helps if you give a warning ahead of time though. How YouTube puts 2 ads which are both either 5 seconds long or unskippable. Anyone notice that the time needed to skip an ad has been getting longer? I had an ad that I couldn't skip for 7 seconds. 1-uppers. You share some great news, they have better news. You share some bad news, no. Their life is far worse. They deserve your pity. Cringiest thing I ever heard. I was at work and one of our colleagues had a child that passed away. We had just heard the news and were talking amongst each other about how horrible and sad it was. This woman in our department actually said, oh yeah, well I know someone who had twins die. Can you imagine? Twins. It's sad to lose a baby, but 2 would be so much worse. We couldn't believe it. Being called a liar. It's got me into trouble with managers a few times. In a similar vein, being unfairly accused of unethical behavior. Worked in a place that had executives on down that would call any minor infraction unethical behavior. Such an accusation is very serious and has real and severe consequences for many professionals. You don't just toss that shirt at someone for being 5 minutes late to work. People who play music loudly in public places. I think anyone who plays music or plays games with the sound on in public is an inconsiderate a-hole. And no, I don't care if you think your kid needs to play games with the sound on. Buy some ducking headphones. Cruelty to animals. Chewing loudly. I try to ignore it and remind myself how petty I'm being, but it's just involuntarily rage-inducing. I don't usually say anything, but I put earbuds in or leave the area. My husband has some kind of misophonia, and whenever I sit down with a snack while he's working at the dining table, he'll put in his earbuds at the first crunch. I'll say, sorry, and he'll say, not your fault. You're just eating, while his eye twitches a little. You got yourself a good man. People clicking their fingers at me to do something. Chances are if you do, I won't end up doing it. My manager had the best response to a customer snapping their fingers I've ever seen. He asked what their lost dog looked like, and began looking under random things while whistling until he wandered into the back room off the service floor, and out of the department, just straight walking away. I had to assist the confused lady without laughing, which is what he went off to do. People that don't put shopping carts away, or leave them near someone else's car so the wind can move them and cause damage. Willful ignorance. People who refuse to learn, acknowledge or accept something to avoid having to change their worldview. A. People who drive slowly in the fast lane. Or B. Those who don't pull over in mountain roads when there is a trail of cars behind them. Edit. C. Tailgaters ducking tailgaters. Man. Hypocrisy. Entitled people. Every time I read a story from that sub, the first thing I think is, why did you even stay in that situation? Tell them to duck off and walk away. Sadly, I've done it before, mainly to my dad's wife, not my mom. Someone yelling at me for zero justification. I ducked up badly and boss had a bad day and yells at me? Understandable. Drill sergeant yells at me for ducking up. Understandable. My friend I used to enjoy being around before he screamed his head off at me over a video game, duck off. When someone doesn't close my room door after entering. Do you know what you are? That's right, you're a champ. Thanks for watching. Like and share if you enjoyed, don't forget the bell. Subscribe for more videos. See you soon, Martians.